Work on your motorcycle long enough and eventually you're going to misplace or lose a nut, bolt, or screw. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to find a replacement for that missing fastener.
Back in the garage today, back in the garage today.
What's going on, guys? Back in the garage today where I'm going to show you how to find the correct size replacement for a missing nut, bolt, or screw. In today's video, I'm going to give you a couple of real life examples that happened to me recently and how I solved them, and hang around to the end of the video for a bonus tip. Just keep in mind, while the specific examples I'm going to give today will actually work for nuts, bolts, or screws, since motorcycles typically have more screws and bolts on them, that's what today's examples are going to be, but that'll work the same just for nuts using the same thought process. Example number one, you're missing a bolt and you don't have another one to compare it to. That actually happened to us back in September when we were on the motorcycle trip up to Maine and back with Rusty, Pete, and I. We got up one of the mornings and we noticed that Pete was missing a bolt that holds his swing arm bolt into place, or a screw that holds the swing arm bolt into place. We didn't have a way to measure it because we're on the road, and in addition to that, we didn't have a center stand or anything to put it up on to pull the screw out of the other side at least easily. So what did we do to figure out what size bolt we needed? Simple. I pulled out my smartphone, or in my case, my iPhone, and for the purposes of today's video, we're going to hop on my computer so we have a little bit larger screen to show you how we figured out that fastener size. Okay, Pete's bike is a 2022 Norden 901, so I'm going to head over to Rocky Mountain ATV MC, but you can go to whatever your favorite website is, and we are going to go to OEM Parts, Husqvarna, 2022. We're going to look for Norden 901 chassis. There we go. We should be able to come down here. Is there a swing arm? There we go. We're going to go to swing arm. And in this case, if we zoom in, I can tell I need part number 16, which they're referring to as screw or special screw. What we're looking at, let me scroll down here where I can get it on here. It says M12 by 40. What that means is this is an M12 bolt, so a metric 12 millimeter bolt, and it's 40 millimeters long. So being armed with that, we should be able to go into our case, we went into a hardware store to pick it up. Let me explain a little bit more on that. All right, so now we knew the size of the screw and the length of the screw. The only thing we didn't know was the thread pitch, and that is the distance between the threads, or how coarse or how fine they are. Typically, you know, on a bolt like that, it's probably gonna be like 1.2 or 1.25 or 1.5. So we had to be careful when we went into the hardware store. We did find the right length and size. When we went to thread it in, you just wanna make sure it threads in and it's not threading in tight or it doesn't bind up. If it does, you likely have the wrong pitch count and or thread pitch. So go with a different thread pitch and test that out. You shouldn't force it. In our case, we got lucky, we got the right one. We were able to get Pete's bike fixed there in the True Value hardware parking lot and get back on the road. Option number two, you lost a bolt or a screw, but you have one to compare it to. This is what happens probably to us most common, but we don't know exactly what size it is, so how do we figure that out? Well, there's a few ways to do it, and I'm gonna show you how to do this. Also, I had this happen to me recently, and I couldn't use the other method of looking it up on the schematics because it's a power parts part on my KTM. There are 6 screws or bolts, whatever you want to call them, in the back of the skid plate. I'd been missing one for quite some time, had 5 of the 6, and you guys saw the recent video. I brought the bike up to par here recently and did a bunch of maintenance on it. I wanted to get that screw or bolt replaced, so let me show you how I did it. Okay, so in my case, this is the screw in question. It's obviously a countersunk screw, so we need to know that. It's got a 5 millimeter Allen head, but I need to know what size it is when I go to start searching for one. So in my case, I'm going to use my calipers. Do you need expensive digital calipers like these? No, not for this purpose, but they do come in really handy, and you can pick up a set like this off eBay for, I don't know, I may have paid $100 for them, probably well less than that. So all we're going to do is pinch down on this. We're showing about 7.88, so we know this is an 8 millimeter bolt. This is where the next tool is going to come in handy. I mentioned earlier knowing the thread pitch. Now, some of you guys are going to look at this and go, well, I could just go to my local hardware store and use it for free. It's hanging up on the wall. Sure you can, but it is really nice having one of these at home, and they're like 25 bucks. I bought one probably 6-8 months ago, and I've been using it all the time. So knowing this is 8 millimeter, we have thread pitch here of 1 and 1.25. All we're going to do is attempt to thread this in and figure out which one it fits in. So it's starting to bind a little bit on the 1, and if I put it in the 1.25, it threads in really, really nice and smooth. So now I know it's an 8mm bolt by 1.25 thread pitch. The last thing I need to find out, and this is where the calipers really come in handy, is the length. Now I will tell you, in the case of mini screws and bolts, it's only the length of the body of it here up to the head. But because this is countersunk, at least the way these were measured, you needed to measure the entire length of it. Now you could use a tape, and I'll show you what I mean by the entire length because where I ordered these from off Amazon, it showed what you needed. We're just going to take our calipers again, and we're going to pinch down, and we know we need a 20mm length bolt. So we need a 20mm length, 8mm, 1.25 thread pitch, countersunk 5mm Allen head bolt. What's great is I was able to find 25 of these on Amazon for like $9 shipped to the door, all brand new, super nice quality. So that's how we figured it out. All right, guys, so those are two recent examples of how I found the right size fastener. Obviously, on one of them, I was able to look at schematics. The other ones, we just had to use a few tools, figure it out, and then go search it online and find what we needed. You could also go to the hardware store. In this case, I think I was doing that on like a Saturday or Sunday. It was just easier to have Amazon overnight them here. But I want to give you a bonus tip on some other things you could have that will make your life easier as well. So let me show you what's on top of the table here. All right, so on top of the table, I have one of these fastener kits from Bolt. This is the European one, which, you know, basically like the KTM one. I've been using this for years. As I take bolts on and off and I reuse screws, I put them back in here. These kits are not super cheap, but they are great to have, and it's a lot of the common fasteners, bolts, screws that you're going to find on a KTM motorcycle. I like these from Bolt. They also make some smaller track pack ones you can get for less money. And it's not just for KTM. I know I do a lot of KTM. Here's one for Honda. This one fits the CR and CRF models. You can see it's got a bunch of bolts specific, a bunch of fasteners, washers, everything specific to it. Also a great kit. But if you want to save some money, we do have this one by Tusk. This is the European one, much like it just doesn't have the KTM name on it. Same sort of thing. I actually prefer the Bolt one. I feel like the quality is just a little bit better than what the Tusk one is, but for the money, it's kind of tough to beat because the Tusk one is significantly less expensive. But those are a few options to have a bunch of these common bolts around, nuts, screws, those sorts of things. So if you do lose something, you might just be able to go over to your workbench and grab a new one and get your bike back together that day. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for today's video. Those are two real-life examples of how I've figured out the right fastener size when I've lost or misplaced one. In addition to the actual tools I showed you how to use, and I'll link some of those down in the description below, hopefully you're able to kind of use that thought process to problem solve as well. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, considering that subscribe button, because if you like motorcycles, this is the place to be. Be sure to check out the description below. I will link some of those fastener kits and, you know, the thread checker. I mean, those things are really cool to have in your garage and something I think you'll get a lot of use out of. And as always, I'll talk to you again soon. We're here at True Value Hardware. Went in, found the exact bolt size. We tested it up. Pete's in there getting a bolt washer. We got we did have to get a socket. I don't have one to fit it. I think it's a 19 mil. We'll show you the work here in a second. Rusty's getting some Loctite ready, and eventually we'll get on the road.